Welcome to our first online session. My name is Mr. Kelly, and I am a design technology teacher and the parental engagement coordinator at BSlack. Thank you very, very much for taking your time this evening to join us. This session is designed to upskill yourself and your young person on working online and with platform Teams. Teams is a platform that we will be using beyond lockdown. Tonight, I'm joined by Mr. Neil and Mrs. McGlade, our Deputy Head Teacher. Mr. Neil has been working extremely hard over the last few months to develop our online programme and support staff and pupils. If you have any questions, you'll see a box below this video. Pop your question in there and we'll address them at the end. I hope you find this session informative and very useful. I'll now hand you over to Mr. Neil.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kelly. Can you hear me?
I can indeed, yes.
I'm going to give you a very quick overview of, as Mr. Kelly said, of Glow and Teams and Office 365. So let me find the window I'm after. It's this one here. So we just want to go into Glow. And I'm sure your learners are very used to using Glow nowadays as one of the main platforms that we're using. So I'm using a student account for this evening. So when your student's learner logs into Glow, they'll be taken to the Launchpad. And the main school Launchpad is the one with the wee house. From the school Launchpad, you can actually download the latest version of Office onto your own personal device. It will ask you to sign in. You'll be able to go and download that onto your device, whether that be a Windows laptop or desktop like I'm using this evening, a Mac, or indeed tablets or smartphones. It'll download and install Teams, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, and any of the other applications that you will need to use. So we'll just close that now. From the Launchpad, our young people can also access Microsoft Teams, and that's our main learning platform at the moment. I would encourage, and it will ask you to sign in here with a Microsoft account, because I've got a number of different ones. It's asking me which one I want to use. But for you learners, you will get a blank screen where you'll be able to enter in the Microsoft account, which is the email address for Glow. So username @glow.sch.uk, and then next, and that will sign you in, and that will take you through to Teams. Now, if you are using a Windows laptop or a Windows laptop or a Mac, I would recommend that you download the Microsoft Teams desktop app, as you get a much richer experience using that. So I'm just going to go exactly to the app as I've pre-downloaded it, and it's asking me to log in. So again, I would enter in the Microsoft account that I have, or my Glow login. I click sign in. It will then take me to the Glow login screen that our learners are very familiar with, and then you can put your password in, and this will take your learner into Teams. The first time logging in can be a little bit longer than normal. So we're now connected to Teams, and the first thing your learner will see when they're connected is they will see all the different class teams that they are added to. Now, as this is a fake pupil, this pupil is a part of lots of different year group teams, but your learner will see the teams that are relevant to them. And they come in this grid format on the whole, slightly different if you're looking on a tablet device, and we'll have a look at that later in the session. Down the left-hand side, we have got a couple of different areas. We have got activity, and this is kind of similar to in social media, where you will get your notifications. So if your teachers post, or if there's any updates, that will appear down here. Our learners don't have access to the chat panel. That is for staff only. Teams takes us into that screen that we initially seen with all the different teams that you're a member of. Assignments will list all of your assignments for all of the subjects that a student is doing. I would discourage learners from going in and accessing assignments this method, as it means you can miss information. We have got our calendar, and if our teacher has scheduled any live meetings, these will appear in our calendar. So if I scroll up to during the school day, you can see there's a number of live meetings that I can join, and we'll come on to those in a second. The calls and the files aren't that important for students. So let's go into Teams, and let's have a look at a team. So we're going to go into S1 Home Economics. And most of our teams are set up in this way, where we have got a general channel, and this channel has been locked down. So you'll see here it says only moderators can post. And that means that me as a pupil, I'm unable to post in this channel, generally speaking. So that means if I need to ask for help, there needs to be another channel, and that's where the questions channel come in. And I won't linger on this too long, but this allows you to ask the student to ask questions of your teacher. And you can see here, the teacher has been responding. So if I go back into general, the main crux of Teams that we are predominantly using is the assignment function. And the reason I say don't use this assignment function here, go into the team and look at the assignments, is if my teacher has posted any updates in the general channel, I will see them, I can pause and read them before I then go and look at my learning activities. So we go into assignments, and you will see the assignments that you've got due. Now, because this is a fake pupil, there is obviously some outstanding. They do go red if they're after the due date, but we are taking the approach of, it's not a major concern if they're beyond the due date. So we'll get a look at this week 7 recipe adaptation. So the way assignments are laid out, you have got an instructions section. We have got a reference material, which is any information that our teacher thinks will benefit us or help us support with the task. And we have then got the actual work that they would like us to complete. So learners start by reading the instructions. If there are lots of instructions or they're maybe not that good of a reader, Teams has a fantastic feature called Immersive Reader, and that's accessible via the wee book with the speaker in the top right corner. And what that does is it brings up this mode here. Now, I think I've shared the screen in a way that you'll be able to hear what I'm hearing, but please bear with. So I just click where I want to start. I get a wee dictionary definition of the word, but I can click play, and you should be able to hear
implement the
what I
Scottish
am
dietary
hearing.
goals.
Is that the case,
Success
Mr. Kelly?
criteria.
Just a wee thumbs up?
Adapt a recipe in line with the Scottish dietary goals.
Yep, he's not.
Identify
Mr. Kelly's nodding his
healthier
head. So
alternatives
you
for
should be able
foods.
to hear that, and that's reading the instructions out to the learner. We've got another couple of features in here. We've got some text formatting, so we can reduce the size of the font. We can change the style of the font to maybe be something that's a little bit more reader. And if our learner uses an overlay, there are options of overlays. If we click on the book, this is fantastic for learners where English isn't their first language. We can translate the whole document. So if I click choose a language, I can pick any language I want. There's a good choice. Let's just go for Polish. And I can translate the whole document. And what that will do is it'll take the document, translate it into my chosen language, but I can also use the read aloud feature
Słuchać
to read it
wideo,
out to me.
voice over PowerPoint.
So what you're now hearing is the
Uzupełnij
computer
arkusz.
reading the instructions to you
Dokonywanie
in
pewnych
Polish.
zamian zdrowej żywności.
Once you're finished with Immersive Reader, you can just click the back button. Immersive Reader is all over Teams and all over the Microsoft suite, so it's well worth looking out for that wee book with the wee speaker. Moving down onto the crux of this assignment, teacher here has uploaded a document. So if I click on the dot, I always say click on the dot menu, and that means we can open it in different ways. If you have downloaded and you're working on a Mac or a PC or a tablet, and you have downloaded PowerPoint, you can click on the Open in PowerPoint option. If you're using a Midlothian Chromebook, you need to select Open in PowerPoint Online. I'm just going to go in PowerPoint Online for speed, but not with that account, I'm not. Okay, let's open it on the desktop version of PowerPoint. And what that will do is it will download the PowerPoint and it will be able for me to open. And it's going to ask me to sign in with my Microsoft account. Again, once you've done it, once the first time you set up all these apps, you'll be required to sign in. And I'm actually going to jump to the online version because I've got too many accounts on this computer that it is not liking. So just bear with. We'll jump to the iPad and we'll have a quick look at Teams on the iPad whilst I load this up on my desktop.
We've just got one.
Okay.
The question is, can a immersive reader be used on all devices? So immersive reader is available on desktop, so Windows, Mac, and Chromebooks, and there are versions of it available on the iPad and tablets as well. It's a slightly different version, and it's not as rich as the desktop version, but there are additional features within iPads that can be used to support text functionality. If you're using a Midland Chromebook, you also have access to an application called Read Aloud, which will do a similar experience. I hope that answers that question. I think it does. Thank you very much.
Right, okay, let's jump over to the iPad. So you can see on the iPad that instead of the teams being laid out in a grid format, we get them all down the left-hand side. And it's a similar experience that we can go into the general channel and we can see the information that our teachers posted. We can use the help and support channel if we need to, and we can ask for help down the bottom by clicking the new post button there and typing away. To get into our assignments in the iPad, it is in the similar position in that we click on the More option and then we can see assignments there and we can access our assignments in a similar method. And again, we can get Immersive Reader in here as well. So if I show you an assignment with Immersive Reader, let's just go and have a look at this assignment here from one of the ones that I've sent. Immersive, there we go. So down the bottom on the iPad, we have got Immersive Reader there, and it will have a similar experience. Some of the functionalities to do with text formatting are not available on that. Oh, they are now available. Microsoft are bringing out lots of updates. When I looked at Immersive Reader on the iPad 2 weeks ago when I did similar sessions with our students, that all those options weren't there. So Microsoft are being really good over the last couple of years in updating all of their products. Okay, so let's now jump back to my Windows machine. And I have got it all set up. So if you remember, we were looking at this assignment here, and we're clicking the ... menu, and I'm going to go in PowerPoint Online. And what that will do is it will open up Microsoft PowerPoint. And what a lot of teachers are doing is they're recording their voice over the PowerPoint. And it can, and hopefully they're converting them to videos. But if they're not, we can see here, we've got a wee speaker down in the right-hand corner, which means there is text-to-speech. And I can click on that, and from the beginning, and you'll shortly be able to hear Miss Leonard introducing S1 through the lesson.
What we're doing is we're asking you to start to explore how to implement.
Okay, and we'll come out of that. So having watched the PowerPoint and worked through any of the instructions, I'm now ready to complete the task. So we can see here, there is a Word document. Again, I'm going to click on the ... menu, and I'm going to click Open in Word or Line, or if I've got the desktop version all signed in, I will click Open in Word. And here we've got this Word document, and having participated in the lesson, having read the instructions, as a student should know what I'm required to do. But essentially within Microsoft Word Online, it is very similar to the desktop version in that I can type in the document what I want, okay? And that is going in there. Within here, we have also got Immersive Reader, and I always forget where it lives, but there it is there in view. I can click on Immersive Reader, and that will load up the Immersive Reader of this document in the same way that you have seen. If learners are maybe not as familiar with a keyboard, it maybe takes them longer than it would to write, there is also a feature called Dictate. So this lives in the home ribbon, and it's this wee microphone here. So when I click on that, it will ask if I'm going to give permission to the browser to access my microphone. So I'm going to click Allow. And what that will start to do is it will be listening to what I say, and as I say something, it will type it. Full stop. New paragraph. It is pretty accurate, but us being Scottish, we do have to slow down to make sure it understands us. Full stop. That's another way that students can interact with Microsoft Office. So once I've finished this work and once I've completed it, what I can do is I can just click the X, making sure up here it says saved. And then we can go up to the top and we can click turn in or hand in, it sometimes says. And when we do that, we always get a cool wee animation. And there's lots of different ones. And you'll see that it also says when you handed it in, and the teacher can go and check it. Now, if I've completed this task and go, oh, actually, I didn't mean to hand it in, what I can do is I can do undo hand in, go and make any edits that I need to make, and then I can click turn in again. So that's kind of the basics of the assignment. I'm just going to show you a couple of other formats of assignments that you might be seeing. So this is just my practice team, where I've posted a copy of an S2 assignment that we did earlier in computing. So again, we've got all the instructions nicely laid out, but this time we have got a Microsoft form. So if I click on that, it will take me to the form in the Teams browser, and there's plenty of space for that. And you'll see that we have got a video that we need to watch, and then we have got another video, and we have got questions. And in here, I just type straight into the box. And I don't know if you've spotted, but as I've been going through this survey, we have got Immersive Reader, so it can read out the comments in the questions. And then as we scroll down, answering all these questions, and me being a good teacher has made these questions compulsory, so making sure that our learners are completing, and then we click next. And then there is another task. Again, our learners can just work through this. They don't have to do it all at once. So if I've done half of it and I need a break, I can just click close, and that's that saved. And if I return to it, it will pick up where I was before I came out of it. And then we can click next. And then when I click submit here, that will submit. And that means my teacher can go and mark it, and I will get feedback on that. Let me just have a wee look at my list to see if there's anything else. Some of the teams you might have noticed in this team here, down on the right-hand side, we've got hidden channels. So these could be important channels that your student needs to see, the learners need to see, but they're just not there. So if you click on the arrow, and you can click show, and you'll be able to see them. So you can see in this practice channel here, I am hosting live meetings in a separate channel. And the way we join a live meeting is it will be posted. We can go into the channel and we can see it. Or as I showed earlier, we can go into the calendar and we will also see our live meetings as well. And these here are all live meetings. So I'm just going to go back to that live meeting work. To join the live meeting, we just click on it. And we get this purple join here. And again, it'll ask for me to allow cameras and microphones. And I can turn my camera on or my camera off, and I can turn my microphone on or off. I would suggest when your young person joins that the microphone is off, just to avoid any noise, and then they click join. At that point, the students are entered into a lobby, and they will be in this lobby until the teacher admits them in. So our students are not able to be in live lessons and live video meetings without the teacher being present, because the teacher has to let them in. And when the teacher leaves the meeting at the end, if there are any students hanging on, they will be removed from the meeting. So because there's no teacher going to let me in here, I would be on this screen forever and ever. So we'll just close that off, and that will take me out of the meeting. To bring back Mr. Kelly and see if there are any questions while I load up the iPad. Oh, hello, Mr. Kelly. Any more questions?
We do indeed. I've got one question. Does my child have access to videos to remind them how Teams works?
Yes. So let me do this on the iPad because it will probably be faster, because my laptop seems to be struggling tonight. So let me just change that. So on the school website, there is a section called Distance Learning. And in the Distance Learning section, there's lots of guides and information about how we're working and remote timetable and stuff like that. But if they scroll down the bottom, there is what is called a Wakelet, and it is a collection of different support for different devices. So if I'm using I'm using an iPad right now, so let's click on smartphone and tablet. Now I've got the Wakelet app installed, but if you've not got the Wakelet app installed, it'll just take you to the website. And here we can see there's lots of different videos covering a good portion of the things that we've covered tonight. So for example, if I want to know what apps I would need on my iPad, I can just go to that video there, watch that YouTube video. Most of the videos are me or ones from other teachers across the country that explain how to have all the apps that you need on an iPad. So I hope that answers that question. Will I just, while we're here, Mr. Kelly, just talk about the apps that we can have on an iPad?
Yes, if we've got time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes left.
Yeah, very quickly. So this is my own personal iPad, but the apps that I would recommend that any tablet user or smartphone user has is firstly the Microsoft Teams app, which I've got down in the bottom left. And if I go into my Microsoft folder, if you're using a tablet, then you need to download the Microsoft Word and PowerPoint apps separately. If you're using a smartphone, they're all packaged together in an app called Microsoft Office. Some teachers are also using OneNote, so that's the purple one below the App Store. And then the one next to that is Outlook, which is the email, which is also worth a download. If your learner is using Teams on the tablet or the smartphone, I would recommend that they enable quiet hours. And this just means that they won't get any Teams notifications out with the school day. And to enable quiet hours, you just tap on your icon in the top left corner. You click on notifications, and then you'll see there's an option there below block notifications that says during quiet time, and you can tap that and there'll be an option to toggle it on and off. And again, you can enable quiet days as well so that we don't get any notifications on Saturday or Sunday. So that's a tip for using iPads. If we just have a quick look at an assignment on iPad. Again, I'm saying iPad, but it could be any tablet. Let's just go for an S2 one because I know what that is. So again, we can read the instructions. We've got Immersive Reader. If I open a Word document, so this is a Word document that I is the teacher wants the students to edit, but when I open it on iPad in particular, it's uneditable. Okay? And that's because iPads default to using their own preview for the Word document, as opposed to Microsoft Word, which is how the document was designed to be viewed. So to load it up in Microsoft Word, we tap on the pencil in the top right corner, and that will open it in Microsoft Word, which would enable me to then edit the document. So I've now opened that in Microsoft Word. I can click wherever I want, get the on-screen keyboard, and I can type in. I can also use the dictation feature on the iPad if you have got that enabled, and it will take what I say and turn it into text. Once I finish the Word document, I always say click the back button in the top left corner, and that just makes sure that it's closed and saved. You can then return to Teams, close the preview, and then click the hand in, and you will get the animation. Just this assignment reminds me, whilst there are different ways that staff can provide feedback, one of these methods is a rubric. So a rubric is just a grid, and it shows what we as teachers are expecting or would like the students to produce. So that's another way that our teachers are providing feedback. And I think that is very, and again, joining live meetings from an iPad, if I just go into my team, you'll see we don't get it's not as clear, it's not as purple, but if I just tap on that meeting, I'll tap on that meeting. Oh, sorry, click details, and then we can click join, and I'll be able to join that meeting from an iPad. And again, it's the same experience. I'm put into the lobby, and I am left there until the teacher lets me in. And I think, Mr. Kelly, that is a good point to take any further questions, if there are any.
There are no questions at this point.
That is fantastic. I'll just bring Mrs. McGlade on as well and see if I have forgotten anything on that quick overview of Teams and Office 365, because there is quite a lot that I could have shared. So is there anything we think we've missed?
I don't think so, no. I think that was very comprehensive, and I think the fact that you highlighted the wakelets on the website, that's really good for people to go back through and see that slowly. I know when I'm learning on this, because it's been a learning curve for everyone, I've used those and I found them really useful, because you can pause them and write it down and go and try it out, and then go back to it. So it's definitely something that's worth taking some time to have a wee look at.
And if there is something in the collection and you think there's something missing, let us know, because I am always looking to add more to that Wakelet collection of other videos that are useful to our learners. So if there is something that you think that's missing, just let us know and we can put something together.
You can contact us through the school email address and maybe just put Mr. Neil's name as the subject. Thank you very much, Mr. Neil. As Mrs. Knight said, that was an extremely comprehensive and informative session, and I'm sure all of our parents and carers are very appreciative of you taking your time this evening. So thank you very much.